Welcome! Here's an update on the progress I've made on the retro-styled homebrew computer I built using microcontrollers. I'll link the video in the description, but for a quick recap, it started as a distraction to learn about hardware design and operating systems through an artistic project. I got inspired by old-school homebrew computers, and I wired microcontrollers and other components together on a wooden board and wrote custom operating software to run on the controllers. I was mostly happy with how it turned out, but there was one part that really bugged me: the graphical display node. The implementation was messy and didn't fit in with the overall aesthetics. I also wanted to add support for external displays, so I started the upgrade with this Adafruit RP2040 with onboard DVI out and tapped into the computer's built-in connection points. I ported the display drivers to run on this board and improved the core capabilities. There are a few differences in how the DVI drivers work, but in just a few hours I had it running on an external display. To run the onboard TFT display panel, I'm using a tiny Waveshare RP2040 board. To avoid the mess of wires this time, I'd use a couple of translation layers. The first layer routes the controller pins from the microcontrollers directly to the board connectors. I built another board with headers for the screen to plug directly into. On this board, I do all the translations required to align the signals, and this gets nicely hidden behind the screen. Put back together, I'm super pleased with how the upgrade came out. It looks great on this old school CRT. I keep it out as a display piece and it never fails to start a conversation. There were some valid questions in the comments from the last video. The original concept was to learn hardware and OS basics and get a little deeper in the weeds, but it was also an artistic expression, so many of the choices I made were purely for aesthetics. I made it overly complex intentionally because microcontrollers look awesome. For the philosophical questions, if you type stuff into it, it computes stuff and then displays the results. It operates as though it's a computer, even if it's not a great computer. A more true statement might be that it's 7 little computers working together to simulate one computer. I think that what I did here was fall back on what I know and apply a software design pattern. This is just a service-oriented architecture where the microservices are implemented as microcontrollers. The design proved itself in this upgrade because I didn't have to change anything on the main board to add the new display boards. I was able to tap directly into the relevant topics and it just worked. I'm using the operating system and design concepts to power a synthesizer/groove box that I'm working on right now. I also have plans for a Ficus 2.0 built on a smaller hardware footprint. Keep an eye out for those videos. Cheers!